So good afternoon, everybody. My name is Gamindu. What I hope to talk to you about is now the education landscape is changing, the labor market is changing, and employers are increasingly demanding. We think they will demand AI skills. Now, currently, there is a certain, we know that industry values critical thinking skills, teamwork skills, communication skills, apart from the hard skills that you get from higher education. So, as the world changes with the current focus on AI skills, we believe that employers in the future will ask for specific AI skills. Now, this is not something that's happening right now. Yeah, right now, industry does demand, okay, you know, how do you, the industry, certain industries like the software engineering industry, for example, will use certain tools. And for that industry, of course, I mean, now at APIIT, when we teach computer science, we do need to teach students the appropriate AI tools to do the software engineering. Now, that's the obvious thing, because it's a computer science subject. But we think that if you do a business degree or a law degree in the future, right now this is not happening, but a lawyer, becoming a lawyer in the future, you know, employers or your clients will ask, you know, all right, I mean, what are the proficiencies you have? If you work for a legal source outsourcing firm, they might ask what are the AI skills that you have. If you join a multinational company, they might actually demand, all right, if you have marketing skills, but do you have digital marketing skills? If you are a business executive, people will ask, okay, I mean, employers will ask, what are your big data skills? So these are things that will happen in the future. So higher education today needs to gear up for what's going to happen 3 to 4 years from now. So when you choose a degree program, maybe there are a few important questions you have to ask about your degree. Yeah. So just to make sure that, you know, you are satisfied that the university, institution and the degree program is future-proof. Because in the now today, English language communication is essential. So in the future, we'll walk into a future where having AI skills is essential. Yeah. So having said that, let's start with a little bit of a look at the benefits of AI in higher education. So the main benefit, I mean, higher education institutions don't have to do anything. What artificial intelligence gives students is an extra source of information. So, I mean, you can think of it as a natural progression. The internet gave us multiple sources of now. By the color of my hair, you'd know when I studied, my sources of information was the university library, actually. The internet was starting to take root when I studied. Google wasn't even around. So if I wanted to learn Fourier transformations, there's no choice. I have to get into a library, I have to borrow a book, and that is that. Today, I mean, not today. If you go to the era before ChatGPT, before these generative AI models, you can easily Google or YouTube Fourier transforms. Wikipedia will tell you the initial stuff. A little bit more Googling will give you a tutorial. If you go to YouTube, you will find several YouTube videos that will explain Fourier transforms to you. So now that happened many years ago. With the advent of AI, what a student could do is, okay, you can view your YouTube videos, but you can even ask the question, all right, I didn't understand this step in the Fourier transform. Can you explain it? You'll get an explanation. There's some chance that the explanation will be wrong, but out of all the questions that you ask, you will probably get a correct answer most of the time for standard things. Yeah. So that's good, right? A student can now, you're not dependent on a teacher, you can actually ask a computer to explain something in more detail. That's a good thing. So that first step, as a higher education institution, I know at APIIT, we encourage students to use ChatGPT to learn. There is a difference. You can't like use AI tools across the board. I mean, obviously, if you ask ChatGPT to do your assignment for you, now that's not going to work well for anybody. So we don't encourage that. But we do encourage generative AI tools to be used for learning purposes. So any education institution that has the internet, enables that first block, access to vast amounts of information, and you can ask questions in an unstructured way and get useful answers. Yeah. The second one is important: personalized learning experiences. Now, usually in a higher education institution, we'll have face-to-face lectures, or some institutions may have online lectures, and there's learning material that's organized on a learning management system. So unlike in school where you take notes, maybe note taking can exist in the university system, but usually if I do this presentation, that presentation would be available on a learning management system. You might also have a short clip, now I'll probably spend about 20-30 minutes here, but I'll probably do a 5-minute, 6-minute condensed version and upload it onto a place where students can access. We call it a learning management system. There are many systems like that. Blackboard is one. Moodle is another. At APIIT we use Moodle. Canvas is another. So there'll be a place where your PowerPoints, your tutorials, your reading material, your quizzes are uploaded. So that was a good thing. But with AI, what we can all, but the thing is that's more like a repository in the sense all the material is there. Now it's up to the student to go through it. So with AI, you can when you put down, say, things like quizzes and tests, we can make it in a way so that the difficulty level adjusts according to the student's competency. So ඉස්සෙල්ලාම දෙන්න පුළුවන් ලේසි ප්‍රශ්නයක්. ඒක ආන්සර් කරගෙන යනකොට තමයි difficulty level එක increase කරලා ඊට වඩා අමාරු steps දෙන්න. ඒ කියන්නේ එකපාරටම you don't jump to a question that is very difficult. Now that's good for learning. It's a personalized learning experience. So there are plugins that enable that, a personalized learning journey. Now at APIIT, one of the ways in which we do this is all our students have access to LinkedIn Learning. LinkedIn is the biggest hiring community, online hiring community, and LinkedIn Learning enables people to get certifications, do courses, badges. You can, on LinkedIn itself, if an employee is looking for you for certain skills, LinkedIn Learning itself will give you an assurance here this person is skilled. So we give free access to all the LinkedIn courses for our business and computing students. So one of the features that you have in LinkedIn Learning is you can have learning pathways. So you can define here, the students can follow course A, course B, course C. So you can have an introduction to programming, advanced programming in Java, and then machine learning using Java. So you can, scaffold the courses. LinkedIn Learning itself will suggest courses. In most of the course, or in some of the courses in LinkedIn, now this is also a work in progress, when you go through it, the quizzes and the learning itself, there are several pathways. If you are a fast learner, if you can solve a programming problem with ease without spending much time, LinkedIn Learning will not make you go through a lot of videos. It will jump straight to a higher level exercise. So you can learn at a faster pace. But if you are a learner who learns at a slower pace, and there's nothing wrong with that. Different learners learn at different paces. That's completely fine. Our problem in a classroom is then, I mean, even when I'm talking, you are forced to listen to me, no? It's my pace. But it's good if I can, pace according to each and every one of you now. I can't do that in this class, but with a AI solution, you can. And these AI solutions are now there in platforms. So LinkedIn Learning is one such example. So one question you can ask a university is here. Can I get a personalized learning experience? මොනවාද ඔයගොල්ලෝගේ courses වල තියෙන්නේ? මගේ pace එකට learn කරන්න පුළුවන් ක්‍රමයක් තියනවාද? Now, don't be too harsh. Even at APIIT, we don't have this for all our courses. Yeah, it's a thing in progress. But if you ask these questions, you can also get a feel for how serious the university institution, how geared the course is for AI skills. Yeah. So that's a good thing. And in 2 to 3 years' time, this is going to be mainstream. There won't be a higher education institution that won't offer a personalized learning experience. Yeah. Then enhanced learning efficiency. So that's related to personalized learning experiences. Now, one of the problems that we have, or we had some time ago, is we couldn't gauge. Now, teachers teach. We have midterm exams or assignments, and then we have final assessments. Now, unless you come to that, you don't really know how much people have learnt. So today, the learning management systems are such that how much time does a student spend on a learning management system? Are they completing their exercises? Are they watching the videos right till the end? Those are all monitored, and teachers get a report of here who's actually completed the learning, who hasn't. So another question you can ask a higher education institution is here. I mean, will you give me feedback on how much I've learnt? Do I have to wait until an exam to find that out? You can actually ask that question now. Okay. So, and finally, personalized support. Now, this is the, this I think is the most important. And the best examples I can give is, so I used to teach programming. So you teach like in the first year, you teach a programming language. Now there's 30 students in a class. So teaching a program is, you'll end up writing code on your computer, it's displayed. You do an example, you ask students to solve a similar problem. Right? Now, then there are 30 students in a class, so I would go around the class, I would ask, each and every person, okay, if somebody's finished it, go on to the next question. If not, I'll ask questions. Why do you think that went wrong? Have you read the error properly? What does that error tell you? Where do you think the, mistake is? Now, there's 30 students in the class, and there's no way I would have covered all the students. Now, you have coding assistants who will, basically, you write the program, you get an error, you can ask, where could the mistake be? It's like a teacher. And these are simple things. You don't need a human being to point this out. A semicolon ekak missing. So you don't really need a human to point those out. And a logical error, if if A is greater than 10, do something, you have put less than, so the correct output doesn't come. You don't really need a human to go around and check these. But coding assistants will do this for you. So one question that you can ask is, do you have personalized support? That's just one example. I'll give you a few as I go along. So these are things to watch out for in higher education. And this is not, again, AI skills in higher education. It's not like, AI is a big thing and everybody is coming on board and everybody is just speaking about it loosely, you might think. No. This is a very formal now. At APIIT, the degrees delivered are UK degrees. They are governed by the Quality Assurance Agency in the UK for their quality, and the Department for Education in the UK, governs that administrative process. You can go onto the websites of those institutions and you will see AI policies. In the sense they mandate people to universities to actively take on AI skills. It's something that government institutions, regulators are asking. Maybe hang on, I'll take a minute. I think while preparing for this, I opened up a few websites. So there you go. So this is, I believe, the Department of Education. Yeah, so if you scroll down, this is the Department of Education giving materials for schools and colleges. See, understanding AI in education, interacting with generative AI. Now, these are things that at APIIT we are training our staff on. Actual training material is given to the university. So it's not it's not something that's out there and good to have. Government agencies actually advocate this. So this is the Quality Assurance Agency website. So the Quality Assurance Agency in the UK is it's what's called arm's length. It's enacted by an Act of Parliament in the UK. They benchmark, they write what is called the subject benchmarks, in the sense a computer science degree has to have these elements. And every UK university has to conform to that. That's the organization that does that. So they also put down policies, regulations that universities, higher education institutions have to comply to. So if you go through this, different universities have generative AI frameworks, syllabi policies for generative AI. So see, it's in higher education, it's not a, just a thing that's done. We are compelled to kind of, take these measures on board. Okay. So obviously, the drawbacks also you'll need to be a little aware of. The drawbacks of AI in higher education is obviously the lack of human interaction. Whether things can be done like without a teacher, whether, we can gauge the human emotional component of a student. There's potential bias. When you go, so AI tools work on data sets. And if you take subjects like marketing or social sciences, depending on the data set that is used, the answers that you get might be biased. So it might not be the best learning tool because you are getting biased views. It's like having a biased teacher. Yeah. And there are ethical concerns in terms of now, to monitor a student, I have to collect data of a student now. So does an organization have infrastructure to protect that? Can it be used for something else? And dependency on technology for students, well, this is something we have to manage now. Earlier, we worried about a calculator being a bad thing for math and the internet being a bad thing for studies. And now, so generative AI can be bad, but only if you use it to do your work for you. So assessments also need to change so that students can't really ask ChatGPT, here, do my assignment, and it'll spit out an assignment. So universities have to change. And they are changing increasingly. I think we are, putting across different assessment. This is not about questioning or having vivas and, but it's the assessment itself. So for example, at APIIT, in one module, students do a pitch presentation, but industry comes in and evaluates. So they have to face industry and it's part of the journey. It's not the final assessment. It's a small 5 to 10 minute mid-term assessment. So there are ways in which assessments themselves are changing. This is another kind of, this is a quick start guide to ChatGPT for higher education that UNESCO has produced. So it's a possibility engine. Socratic opponent is, you can, students ask, the Socratic approach is, okay, you continuously ask why. Why is that? So in a quadratic equation, okay, why do you have to, square the two sides? Why do you have to put plus minus? So it's ChatGPT is a good tool for that. You can keep on asking why, you'll get an answer back. Yeah, it's a way of learning. Yeah. So it's a collaboration coach. It helps you kind of get to the information sources that you really need. It can advise you on where to get information. It can advise you on which kind of roles that you need in the team. So it's a good collaboration code. So personal tutor, guide on the side, co-designer. You can try out different designs. You can very easily ask a generative AI tool to design, say, an advertisement and design various variations on it. You still can decide on which one is more effective. Probably an AI tool can't do that, but it simply gives you more options, see? So you can co-design stuff. Can be a study buddy, because you can simply ask questions and it's like your friend helping you out in your homework, so students can independently use it. And it's a dynamic assessor. So on LinkedIn Learning, I'll show you the one component here. There is a coach. Another component is where, okay, you can define now, back in the day, and we still do this, we prepare students for internships by getting them to do mock interviews. So we get like our own alumni in, and we get teachers, and there's a mock interview. I'm going to join as a software engineer. Now interview me as a software engineer. All right. So there is a interview coach built into LinkedIn Learning now. You can define the scenario. All right. I'm a software company in Sri Lanka. We have 100 software engineers. Our platform is .NET, and we have European clients. I'm looking for an intern to do UI work for a telecom provider in the UK. Please, conduct an interview. And the computer becomes your interviewer. The beauty of this is students can try this out on their own. You don't have to, wait for a single moment in time where people come in and then you can have a limited number of interviews. So, a dynamic assessor. And it gives you feedback. This is where you were strong. Your communication was strong. Your technical skills were not too strong. Give you that feedback. Can you do the interview again? See if you can, So it's a wonderful tool. So I think it's an exciting time for higher education. So just to give you a few examples from where I work. See, in the future, what I'm trying to say is, I hope I gave you an idea that these AI skills being built into higher education is not now rocket science. Right? Those skills, if I didn't talk to you about it, and I gave software examples, but that is applicable for anything. No? Whether you do a business degree, a law degree, an engineering degree, biomedical science degree, psychology degree, all of that is important. No? Jobs are important for psychology students also, right? If you're going to, get a job as a counselor, so you can practice that interview, right? So all the things that I talked about were not relevant to a single discipline. Okay. So, I mean, leave out the School of Computing. If you take the business school, if you take the accounting and finance degree, there are Where do you use AI in accounting and finance? So these are, so there are fintech subjects, and in a fintech module, there will be, you can automatically now forecast your cash flows. Simple tools like Power BI, Microsoft Power BI does that. So our, in your accounting and finance degree, basic accounting, the forecasting will use a Power BI tool to do your, cash flow forecasts. You're not going to do it by hand. So you could ask, where in your accounting degree, where in your business degree do you get AI skills? Is a question you can ask. For the law degree, there's actually a subject called AI law, artificial intelligence law, because various now for copyright purposes, different countries have brought in laws. There are things that you can kind of take. So you can't take a famous person's face and use that as the input for a content, generate something and then use it for commercial purposes. There's a law against that somewhere in Europe. So things like that we teach our law students. Now, LinkedIn learning, all our business and computing students have LinkedIn learning. So where do AI skills come in? Where do we train our students through AI? All our business and computing students are trained. They have access to that interview coach. They have access to how to design your own learning pathway. So this is just as an example. When you do choose a degree program, see where AI skills are addressed within that degree. So so that's just an example of so that's LinkedIn Learning. That's a bit of, AI coaching that's available on LinkedIn Learning. If a student could ask, if you follow the conversation, how can I lead better meetings? That's an AI coach. So it asks for more input, it gives suggestions. So these are based on, well-known techniques. It doesn't take much. It doesn't eliminate a teacher, but you can get a long way with a tool. So, so I hope that gives you, just to summarize, the questions to ask. Can I have personalized learning pathways? Could I have intelligent systems for student support, like the coach? Do you have data-driven insights for educators? Can educators know who's learning fast, who's learning slow, who's in trouble? Do you have a way to find that out? Yeah. And, do you use AI tools for the general administration in your university? Are probably questions you can ask. Put us in trouble. Yeah. But these are increasingly important. It's new today. 3 to 4 years' time, no one would need a talk like this. You will naturally ask these questions. All right, that's all I have for you, and I hope that was useful. I can take questions if anybody has questions. Thank you for your patience. I really hope that was time well spent. Thank you.